Hello, Victor here at restoringmercedes.com, and this video is for Carlos in Colorado. So we have here on the bench two units, three units, the Egas module and two throttle bodies from 600 SL, Mercedes 600 SL, 129-545-0432. That's the early version, and you can tell by throttle bodies early version throttles. These I like better than 95s. Like these. So these are the later versions, small bolt cases. I like these more because they actually last longer. They're more reliable. They have their own issues, but whatever it is, that's just my personal opinion. Now, the good news is that everything works now. The very good news is that Egas module did not burn out. That's also really nice, because wires in these units, they were completely dust. It's like complete dust. There was no insulation remaining. The second you touch it, it becomes just powder. So that's very, very bad, and usually when that happens, Egas module burns out. It didn't happen in this case, which is nice, and I just still serviced it. I put new capacitors in just for the good measure, because they were actually old type capacitors, those kind of aluminum kind of looking things. I mean, grayish, like, you know, those are very, very old ones. They're like first generation of these modules had those capacitors. Later ones had a little better ones. They're like already aluminum, plastic, and whatever. But anyway, so it's a good idea to replace capacitors. So I did that, and of course, units are bench tested for a long, long time. They've probably been on the bench for like 3 or 4 days. I've been busy with other things. So let's look on the bottom of these units on the other side. So gaskets are in place. They're stuck to units. Actually, you can reuse them. I reused mine. No issues. Just do not over tighten your mounting bolts that go through throttles. You know, those mounting bolts. Snug them up and you're good to go. The cases, I did not really grind them down or anything. They're not really that bad. So it's just like chemical cleaning, and that's about it. Because they seem to be decently clean. I didn't want to like really go very aggressive against them. They're good to touch, so there's really not much oxidation. So there's some, but it's not critical by any means. And this is basically how they operate. Just wanted to show that all of these connected to the Egas module. As you can see, the wires go into the Egas module. That is your Egas module here. Let me just see, that's your Egas with the sticker that you had on it. If you remember how it looked, you had also a sticker over here, but that's just the way I received it. There's nothing wrong with that. Temperatures, let's go take a look. Temperatures, see, they're hidden over 100 in certain areas. That's to confirm that these units had been energized for a long time. Not everywhere, but certain areas you can hit like 100, depending on where you are. The clutch coil and the motor, they're the hottest. The cold units, for example, are 60s, mid 60s. So just to show that the units had been energized. And last, we're going to look at actual values. I like to look at those too. Let's take a look when both units are sitting on idle here. Actual values are very good, actually. I just had a set of units where values were not mirror image of each other, but they work just fine. So 4.35, 4.35, 0.49, 0.64, and you open them, obviously values will change. That tells you that potentiometers do work fine. As you can see, now we have values, totally different values here. So more importantly, are these two, this one and that one. That's most important, because that's the plate positioning, and that's the way it is. Now, also, sometimes the reason why I do not like these units is sometimes they make noise. So when they open and close fast, you can hear them making this like loud screeching noise. There are a couple of kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. Okay, the noises, I think they're coming either from the motor or they come from gears, because gears are metal. Motors, they don't have ball bearings in them. They just have bearings, but they're like bronze, and obviously they wear out. So the shaft on the bronze, it just gets a little loose. So when the motor spins fast, it makes like screeching noise. I've seen that before, yes. So that's how these motors are. The newer ones are ball bearing motors, but they're worse motors because I would rather have motors make noise than the motors than these motors, than the newer units. They seize up. They're different design. So you never hear this noise when you run the engine. The engine is going to make so many noises, you're never going to hear it. So it's kind of more like of a small little nuisance versus like any kind of critical problem. That's the way I would say. So basically at this point we're good to go. One more thing that I wanted to show you real quick here. Let's take a look at our fault memory, what's stored in this unit, because I used this unit for other throttles and because I had a couple of few sets sitting here. So what we have the module, the code for the module itself, that it's bad. This is generic, usually these come up. And this is also sort of a generic code in a way, 224. But usually this is for the, that code comes when you try to accelerate by pushing the linkage under the hood. So there's a switch in the gas pedal. And when that thing isn't seen, and along with the others, and just like a ghost code in a way. Usually you never see this code only. You always have this with something else. So like you can have this code alone. Sometimes you can have this code alone, but this one never comes along, just like just 224 and nothing else. There's always something else with it. So control module and this code, so I would combine these together. I'll try to clear them, but to clear them it's kind of tricky on my end, because you see I have to shut down ignition. So, and this is a bench test of mine, so I don't have, I should actually make it. I'll make it maybe one of these days. So what I'll do is I'll try to unplug the power from the module.